Everything changed in a matter of seconds. In the National Football League, an entire franchise's destiny doesn't always hinge on a final, dramatic play on the field. Sometimes it hangs entirely in the balance of a single, unsigned piece of paper. Welcome to NFL Nexus. I'm your host, and before we unravel the agonizing tension behind what is undeniably the biggest offseason storyline in football, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this explainer, and comment down below with your thoughts. And hey, if you really want to support our deep dives, consider becoming a channel member. The stakes have literally never been higher. Let's dive right in.
So, I want you to really think about this for a second. What is the absolute definitive price of a dynasty? We're not just talking about guaranteed money or signing bonuses today. We're talking about the very soul of a franchise. A team's entire future, its ultimate championship window, its legacy, all of it can be completely derailed or permanently cemented by a single contract negotiation. We've seen it tear locker rooms apart, right? And we've seen it build modern empires. And right now, in Houston, the silence surrounding that negotiation, it's absolutely deafening.
Part 1. The ticking quarterback clock.
The Houston Texans are entering the 2026 season. But you have to understand this. This is not just another season. It is a terrifying, high-stakes window of immense expectations. The demand inside that building, and frankly from the entire city of Houston, is nothing short of a deep, relentless postseason run. The clock is ticking with every single snap in training camp, and the foundation of those massive expectations is represented by one single number. Look at this. 17.2. I want to linger on that for a moment. That is the freezing cold amount of points the Texans' dominant defense allowed per game last year. In the modern NFL, a defense that stifles elite, high-octane opponents to that degree, it's a rare anomaly. It requires perfect execution, relentless pressure, and a scheme that literally suffocates the opposition's will to fight. They did their job. They built the wall. But that defensive dominance? It creates a devastating ripple effect for the other side of the locker room.
Because the defense has proven it can carry its weight week in and week out, a stark realization sets in. The ultimate pressure. The unbearable burden of a championship, it now shifts squarely under the shoulders of the offense, and more specifically, onto C.J. Stroud. As ESPN's DJ Biename highlighted, the offense is the #1 storyline heading into training camp. The defense is a known, lethal commodity, right? They're the bedrock. But the offense is the variable that will decide whether this team goes home in January or plans a parade in February. Make no mistake, if this team fails to reach the mountaintop, the blame will not fall on the defense. It will fall on the offense. It will fall entirely on Stroud.
Part 2. Cacerio's calculated contract gamble.
Which brings us to the architect of this entire roster, General Manager Nick Cacerio. At the opening of training camp, reporters swarmed. The microphones were thrust right in his face. KPRC2's Aaron Wilson documented Cacerio's exact words regarding his star quarterback's future. And guys, it is a calculated, high-stakes game of 4D chess. Cacerio is holding his cards impossibly close to his chest. Every single word he speaks is a deliberate, meticulously planned move. Cacerio acknowledged having productive conversations regarding Stroud's contract and his fifth-year option. And then he added, "We'll see where it goes." Let those words echo for a moment. Productive. That's a word designed to soothe the masses, to project calm to a nervous fan base. But "we'll see where it goes"? That is the subtext of a front office currently unwilling to blink. The tension behind those 5 words is palpable. It is the literal sound of a standoff.
Cacerio continued to shower his quarterback with praise, noting the microscopic details of his preparation. He said, "Healthy, here, year 2 system, build on last season." He emphasized Stroud has the right approach, right mindset, and practiced well. This is the anatomy of a perfect soldier. Stroud is executing his preparation flawlessly. He's showing up early, grinding in the film room, doing exactly what is asked of him, and pushing all the pressure right back onto the front office. By refusing to hold out, by refusing to cause a scene, Stroud is daring them to pay him his worth. He is letting his unquestionable professionalism be his absolute loudest bargaining chip.
And this is where the negotiation philosophy becomes truly chilling. Cacerio stated, "You take all the information and make the best decision possible. It's not necessarily about what other teams are doing. We have to analyze this with a sense of extreme urgency. Can Houston truly ignore the exploding quarterback market around the rest of the league? Can they really operate in a vacuum when every other franchise is handing out record-breaking guarantees to their signal callers? The market is a living, breathing entity that resets every few months, and acting as if Houston is somehow immune to those shockwaves, that is a wildly dangerous tightrope to walk. He followed that up with this exact quote. "We try to figure out what we can agree upon. We try not to overcomplicate or overthink it. We try to make the right decision." The dramatic irony here is paralyzing, trying not to overcomplicate a decision that will dictate the next decade of Houston football. Just imagine the sheer crushing weight of trying to find an agreement that satisfies a superstar without completely crippling the salary cap space needed to keep the rest of the super team intact. Every single dollar given to the quarterback is a dollar taken away from a premier edge rusher or a blindside tackle. It is quite literally the most complicated math equation in professional sports.
So the crucial point is this. Is a deal actually about to be signed? When asked if an extension was imminent, Cacerio gave a chilling finality. We'll see. He called negotiations a possibility. And sources confirm the terrifying reality for Texans fans. Nothing is regarded as definitive or imminent right now. Despite the praise, despite the expectations, despite the flawless execution in training camp, the franchise and its most important player exist in a delicate, agonizing state of suspended animation.
Part 3. The weight of expectations.
This standoff builds an unbearable physical and mental weight for Stroud. He is stepping onto the grass every single day, knowing that one wrong step, one severe blindside hit, or one regression in play could literally cost him tens of millions of dollars. The mental toll of practicing without the security of a long-term mega deal, it's like an invisible backpack he has to wear on every single rep. And the front office? They have essentially eliminated all of his excuses. Let's granularly detail their offseason. They added a bruiser and running back David Montgomery to balance the attack. They made significant costly investments in offensive line protection to keep the pocket clean. They have built an absolute fortress around CJ Stroud. They are demanding a championship output, which makes his 2026 performance undeniably critical for his own financial future. The stage is perfectly set, but the star actor remains uncontracted for the long haul.
Part 4. Navigating the outside noise.
In the NFL, information is currency, and you simply cannot keep a secret of this magnitude quiet. The rest of the league is watching this hesitation. They are watching Houston play this dangerous waiting game. Contrast the Texans' slow-moving, calculated negotiation progress with the desperate, watching eyes of outside observers. Houston preaches patience. They preach waiting for the quote-unquote right decision. But across the league, predators are beginning to circle in the dark. There are desperate front offices looking for a franchise savior, teams that feel they are just one elite quarterback away from hoisting a Lombardi trophy, and they are more than willing to capitalize on another team's hesitation.
Which brings us to this absolute bombshell detail. According to SB Nation's Jarrett Bailey, the Pittsburgh Steelers are actively monitoring CJ Stroud's status with the Houston Texans. They are looking for a long-term successor to Aaron Rodgers. Let that terrifying reality hang in the air for a second. The mere thought of losing a generational talent like Stroud to a historic powerhouse rival franchise because of a prolonged contract dispute, it is the ultimate nightmare scenario. It's enough to make any fan lose sleep. The Steelers organization knows exactly how to identify vulnerability, and right now, this contractual limbo in Houston is bleeding into the water.
Cacerio knows the noise is out there. He understands the psychological warfare of the media landscape, and he is actively trying to build a wall around his quarterback. He stated, "Human nature is people will form opinions about you, good or bad. CJ is a good kid who cares a lot about football. Our job as coach, GM, organization is to support our players." He is firmly backing his star signal caller, attempting to shield him from the deafening public rumors about Pittsburgh and the ever-growing speculation from national pundits.
And then Cacerio delivered this definitive, declarative statement. He said, "We love having CJ here. He's our quarterback." It sounds so perfect, right? So incredibly final. But the agonizing irony bleeding through the screen right now is that despite those warm, strong words, the cold reality of the contract remains completely unsigned. He is our quarterback, but only for as long as the current expiring paper says he is. In the ruthless business of professional football, actions and guarantees speak 1,000 times louder than press conferences.
Part 5. The Ultimate Championship Window.
Let's pan out to the massive macro-level scale of the NFL timeline to understand why this exact moment, right now in 2026, is the most critical juncture in the history of the franchise. It is a terrifying collision of elite talent, strict timing, and finite salary cap space. In 2026, Stroud has year 2 system mastery. He is surrounded by premium weapons and a fortified line, all existing harmoniously on the cap. But looming right around the corner is the 5th-year option conversation, which is really nothing more than a temporary Band-Aid on a gaping wound. And finally, the inescapable future,
the mega extension pressure. The window for a cheap championship on a rookie-scale timeframe is rapidly closing. With every snap Stroud takes, with every touchdown he throws, the price tag goes up, and the flexibility to build a roster around him shrinks. It is a desperate race against time and accounting.
So here we are. The pieces are on the board. The defense is elite. The offense is fully loaded with weapons. The Pittsburgh Steelers are watching from the shadows, ready to strike. And Nick Cacerio, he is refusing to be rushed. The waiting game has only just begun, and the entire league is holding its breath to see who blinks first. Before you go, make sure you subscribe to NFL Nexus. Like this explainer, leave a comment with your exact predictions on when Stroud's contract will drop, and support our deep dives by becoming a channel member. The tension is only going to rise from here. We will see you next time.